Hello to everyone out there in Music Land. Thank you for joining me. My name is Brendan Snyder. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I'm attempting to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers, and if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, we're going to take a look at a Journey compilation, or a best of, and they're certainly known for releasing some really amazing ones. In particular, the Greatest Hits, which has gone 15 times platinum in the US alone and features all their major hit songs on it. And they did release a volume 2 of it, which collected all the stuff that wasn't on that first one, and there's still many great hits that are on this one as well. And there's this cool Japanese one called The Journey Continues, and what I like about this one is that they add stuff from the 1995 reunion with Steve Perry, but they also add 2 tracks with his replacement, Steve Algieri. And then there's this cool compilation that's a promo-only release that is a single-disc version of the triple-disc Time Cubed box set that's behind me from 1992. There's actually a separate review for this on my channel, as well as the box set if you're interested in checking either of those out. But the one we're going to take a look at today is called The Ballads, and it's a Japanese-only release. Came out in 1991. What I really like about this is that it's actually as it says. It is all ballads. A lot of times bands release these collections called like love songs or the ballads or something along those lines, but they're not actually all the slower side of their songs. And this one here is actually all that. It does have more tender ballads and also the power ballads. So you do get the peaks and valleys in it with, going through the different styles like that, but it is all the ballads. And there's 15 tracks that are on here. And it does focus on the Steve Perry era from 1978 to 86. But before he was in the band, they actually recorded 3 albums without a frontman. The band actually started out as the Golden Gate Rhythm Section before changing their name to Journey. They formed in '73 from ex-Santana members, Greg Rowley on keyboards and lead vocals, and Neil Schon on lead guitar. And with some personnel changes early on, eventually they settled on Ross Valerie on bass and Steve Smith on drums. And then of course after the first 3 albums, they add Steve Perry. But those first 3 albums, which are these, were more in a jazz rock direction than the commercial direction that they ultimately end up going in. And so in 1975, you have their self-titled release, followed by Look Into the Future from 1976, and then Next in 1977, and this album here actually shortened the songs and had more lead vocals on it, trying to go in that more commercial direction that they ultimately did with 1978's Infinity, and it was the first album with Steve Perry on lead vocals. This album here has 3 songs on the compilation. It has Lights, Patiently, and Open to the Door, and ultimately was certified 3 times platinum. The follow-up album, 1979's Evolution, has 1 song on the compilation called Too Late, and it was ultimately certified 3 times platinum as well. The next album, Departure, from 1980, was actually the last album with Greg Rowley, and this one has 2 songs on the compilation. It has the songs Good Morning Girl and Stay a While, and was certified 3 times platinum. Can we see a trend here with how many times platinum things are being certified, which is really great. And then their next album, arguably their biggest, Escape, which came out in 1981, is the first album with Greg Rowley's replacement, Jonathan Cain, on keyboards. This one has 3 songs on the compilation: Who's Crying Now, the classic Open Arms, and Still They Ride, and was certified 9 times platinum. Only getting bigger at this point. The next album, 1983's Frontiers, continued the band's success and has 3 songs on the compilation. It has Cinder My Love, the classic Faithfully, and then After the Fall, and was certified 6 times platinum. And then the next album, Raised on Radio from 1986, was actually recorded as a trio with session musicians, because at this point they'd actually fired Ross Valerie on bass and Steve Smith on drums. This one has 3 songs on the compilation: I'll Be Alright Without You, The Eyes of a Woman, and Why Can't This Night Go On Forever, and was ultimately certified 2 times platinum. Now, following the release of Raised on Radio, the band went on hiatus, and so when this came out in 1991, they had not yet done the reunion in 1995, so there's nothing on it from that. So let's take a look at this though. That's the front cover. And of course there's the scarab that they always use, and having, you know, used that scarab and the whole Egyptian motif, I like how they really worked it in here in this album art. I thought that was pretty cool. There's the spine of it, and of course being a Japanese release, the other side is in Japanese. There's the back side of it. Here's the inside of it. And I'll pull out the booklet and I'll let you guys take a look at that. There's unfortunately no photos in here. Here's the inside with the track listing in both English and Japanese. They always do a little write-up history in Japanese, and I wish they'd translate them to English, but they don't, of course, because they're not expecting the English market to be buying these. And then the lyrics are in both English and Japanese, which is nice, and that goes all the way through to the back of this, and then the back side of that. And so, you know, as I said, with this compilation, I think it's really great because it actually does what it says, and it's got, you know, actually all ballads. But what I also like is that while it has hits on it, it has a lot of real deep album cuts, which makes it interesting to listen to. Unlike the greatest hits compilations, where it's basically everything that's on the radio that I've heard so many times before. And it is great to put that on and just hear hit after hit after hit. This is nice because it's interspersed with the hits, and I get some deep album cuts that I'm not so used to hearing all the time. For me, I feel that gives this album, you know, much more in terms of the peaks and valleys, and I do like that as an alternative to that greatest hits. And so, in conclusion with this, and you know, following up on the band's history here, they would reunite in 1995, release the Trial by Fire album with the classic lineup, including Steve Perry. But between 1998 and present, they've gone through another number of lineup changes, most recently being that they have, for the second time, fired Ross Valerie on bass and Steve Smith on drums. And they've replaced them with a returning Randy Jackson. He's from the 1986 lineup. He toured with them on bass. Narada Michael Walden on drums. And now they've added a sixth member, which they haven't done before, Jason Durlaka on second keyboards, which I find really interesting that they're adding a second keyboard player along with Jonathan Cain. I hope everything's good in the ranks. It appears so, because they have recorded as a 6-piece, a socially distanced track, and that is available if you go to their YouTube page. And of course, they're joining Neil Sean on guitar, Jonathan Cain on keyboards, as I stated, and Arnel Pineda on vocals. And what's really cool is that recently Neil Sean excuse me, has said on his Twitter and Instagram page that they're actually recording new material the first time in 9 years since the 2011 Eclipse album, with a potential single coming out in summer 2020. And with this being the first part of July, hopefully by the end of August, we'll have some new Journey to listen to. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.